What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 114 of the Offshore Gamescast. I'm Dave.
I'm Lile.
And I'm Dylan. That was stupid.
That was great.
stupid.
Amazing.
That
The
was
most
wonderful.
amazing intro that we ever did.
Today we're talking about Fae Farm.
That's what they want us to talk about.
Yeah,
They.
the government. Actually, this is a
The government.
mandated podcast.
Oh my god.
Our once a year cozy game. That,
the heck are you doing? Stop.
I got a little thing in my mouth. It's new, so.
You need to censor that.
Government.
I'm just trying to figure it out, you know, as you do, like a
This is your
scientist.
first day.
It's
Oh
new.
my god.
I haven't I haven't seen that one before.
I'm
trying to get
sorry.
rid
I like went right into your intro. Go on with your government mandated
It's
game.
a government mandated once a year cozy game that I play.
Is it during the daytime?
This is not a daytime game. I'll just get ahead of that.
Oh no, I hate evening games.
I'm so sad.
But yeah, Dave, what are we talking about next week?
Cranberry juice.
Man.
Next week, we'll be talking about Lies of P.
Why?
Brother.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, why did cranberry juice make you a wrestler?
Because it tastes so good.
And wrestling's so good.
That makes the most sense.
I'm not a spokesman for any company. As long as you go out and you mash cranberries and consume them, that's what makes me get stronger.
So if we do it, you get stronger.
Don't drink the companies. Manifest yourself, and I will get stronger.
So if somebody makes cranberry juice but not for a company, you get stronger?
Only if they consume it.
Okay, so if someone makes homemade cranberry juice not for a company and then drinks it, you feel that and get powerful.
Yes, but on the off chance that it is homemade and then brought to a company in accordance to be given to them, doesn't count.
What if they already consumed it and it wasn't for a company originally, but then later down the line they brought it to a company? Does that power get sapped away?
But they had already consumed it. Are they bringing a jar of pee to a company?
Maybe.
That's
well, hold on. Does it have to be a
nervous.
company that sells cranberry juice, or could it be a study on how drinking so much cranberry juice affects your urine? And then they bring it to a lab, which is a company that makes money.
I'm gonna go with cranberry juice companies.
Okay, I'm glad we could clarify.
Yeah, yep. Riveting conversation.
What's going on next week or 2 weeks from now, Lyle?
I'm either going to talk about Loretta or After Dream. Both are horror games, and I want to talk about the horror game for spooky season.
That's a piece of horror
yeah.
game.
That's true.
I guess I will pick a horror game for October as well.
We got Assassin's Creed Mirage for Dylan.
That's so spooky.
That is
So scary.
I mean, it's a Ubisoft game, so.
Oh, well, then we'll have him play the Crew Motorfest.
Oh God,
Oh, no.
the spookiest.
That probably is very spooky with its cool cutscenes.
They're gonna shadow drop one copy of Skull and Bones to Dylan's front doorstep.
No, that's not spooky. That's exciting.
That's horrifying.
It's pure joy. Because I will personally drive that to you
Oh God.
and leave it on your doorstep.
You're basically spending a whole new game's worth of money for gas just to force me into further
Worth it.
depression.
Worth it. Before we get into this, as always, if you are enjoying the show, whether it's on YouTube where you can see our faces and some gameplay, or on any podcast app that you use, we appreciate it. And the best way to support us is to leave a review, to leave a comment, to follow or subscribe, whatever term it is based on the platform. If you were here last week, you would see why Dave has this Polaroid selfie of himself. And thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Fae Farm. This was developed and published by Phoenix Labs. Came out on September 8th of this year onto the Switch and the PC. For clarity's sake, I have played on the Switch.
It feels like a Switch game.
But for
Yes.
resolution's sake, you want to play on the PC.
Actually, yes, I we'll get to that. So here's the deal. This is your cozy farming life sim sort of game, like an Animal Crossing or a Dreamlight Valley. I usually once a year will get sucked into one of these, and then I kind of get my fill, and then give it another year or so, and another one comes out, and I get the urge again.
You should do like a top 10 ranking of your farming sims.
I haven't played enough yet for that.
He hasn't played Stardew Valley, so he has nothing
Yeah,
to rank it by.
Really, I
He
Well,
doesn't
I
have the
shouldn't even be
bait.
reviewing this
got
game.
he's got Animal Crossing. He's got Dreamlight Valley. He's got Harvestella. He's got Toe Gem
Fae
Eyeball.
Farm.
He got Moo Goo Guy Pan. He got.
Oh god, copyright strike. So the spin with this one is that it is going for, as you can see in the name, it is going for very like fae, fairy, magical sort of style. A lot of mystical creatures come along with that, and there is combat in this one. Some have that, some don't. This one does. So here's what's going on. First you make a character. It's a mostly basic character creator. They do have a good amount of hairstyles, I will say that. But it's, these games tend to not be crazy in depth with their character creator, especially because it has that kind of. I don't want to say it looks exactly like Animal Crossing because it doesn't. It definitely has its own style, but it's not super detailed.
Where's the gritty?
It's not Baldur's Gate.
Where's the gritty like farming sim that lets you like choose what penis that you want, and then like what tattoos, and then you're walking around, but you're still just like planting seeds.
It's a Baldur's Gate expansion.
That would be amazing.
So you make your character, and then the way it works too. I didn't play co-op, but I do just want to kind of preface this with how co-op works real quick. Your character, your progress is based on your world. So like you make your world, you have your character. That doesn't carry over when you do multiplayer with someone. If you join someone else's world, you make a new character for that world, and then that character in that world's progress will save in that person's world. But it's not like an Animal Crossing thing where you can go visit someone else's world and it's you as your character or anything. But anyway, you make your character, and you end up you're on a boat, and whirlpools everywhere. You crash, and you wash up on the island of Azoria.
That sounds very Pokemon.
Yeah.
You haven't spoken to your dad in 10 years.
The island is surrounded by whirlpools, so they haven't had visitors in quite a while. But you wash up on shore. Everyone's very nice and excited that you're there. They're all like, we got this old farm property, as it pretty much always goes in these games.
They're probably excited about new genes as well.
I don't know if it's been that long. I don't know if it's been that long.
Sorry, had to. Go on with your cozy farm sim.
And
this is the part where it matters in the story what penis size you chose and which penis.
Exactly.
You wash up on that island, you're like, what's going on here? And there's just eyes peering out through the forest, just licking their lips.
Of course, you end up a surprise. You end up, of course, being the hero of the day, and you save the island. That's you.
Get rid of the whirlpools, I guess.
Yes, that is the first step of that process, is getting rid of the whirlpools. And let's put a pause on the story there, because We'll get a little bit further into it later, but it's not exactly a riveting narrative.
We get it.
But you wouldn't expect it to be. That's not what you're here for.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about the farming.
Yes.
So you get your first farmland, and it's pretty good size. And again, just kind of like all these, you have to clear it out. There's like trees everywhere. There's logs. There's weeds for you to pick up. And the tools are very Animal Crossing like, such as you have an axe for chopping down trees, you have a shovel, you have a scythe.
Got him.
Shit.
Definitely.
So you have a scythe for like the big tall
Harvesting.
grass. The shovel obviously for digging up. There'll be like piles of dirt. You could dig those up and you get like
Treasure.
clay,
Okay.
sand. So not treasure. There's no buried treasure.
Rice.
No
a
rice.
turtle.
No turtles.
Filet
Shoes.
mignon.
No filet mignon. Nothing.
Shoe.
A watering can and a pickaxe for stones and the like. One thing I do like, compared to Animal Crossing, is that your tools are just basically one equipable thing that, based on what you're standing in front of, will just change.
So it's
if
like
you're in front of a
Ooh.
tree, you just hold down A on the Switch, and you will just start chopping down that tree until it's done. And then you could go immediately to a rock right next to it, hold down A, and it'll be your pickaxe.
That's
and you don't-
nice. I like that.
Not having to switch constantly is very much so a quality of life thing. And also, just like Animal Crossing, the way you can't decorate your whole island like you can in Animal Crossing. It's just restricted to your farm plot. But it works very much so the same way, where you have a whole grid pattern, and what you put down will take up X amount of space on that grid. You put stuff down like farm plots, which is how you will grow crops or flowers, fences. You can put down trees. There's like fruit trees and the such. All your crops. That's mostly what you're doing. There are some like decorative things, but it's not so much about that on your farm.
It is one of them games where the two types of wood they burn differently.
You're not burning wood, but
But what am I supposed to do after a hard day's work when I'm ready to have fun?
You go to sleep.
You
don't burn, but there are different types of trees that give you different woods that are used for different things.
different burning lengths.
No burning. We don't do fire.
Do you make coal? How do you make things? How do you burn
You
things?
do. There is coal to be
burn
harvested.
things?
To cook. Or I guess you are burning some things, just not with wood. You're not burning wood.
Burn.
He just wants to burn.
Yeah, you just want a fire.
Doesn't matter what.
And so just like with the quality of life stuff we were talking about, when you're planting seeds, so in Animal Crossing, you're just kind of like putting one thing down at a time. Here, if you have your big farm plot, you will, and you have like seeds in your inventory, you just start on one little square in the grid, and you hold down A, and you can just run up and down all the farm plot. It'll just plant all your seeds.
I like
it makes
that.
it a lot quicker. Yeah.
Yep.
Also, you can. It's almost like Animal Crossing came out, and that game is great, but it does not have the best quality of life systems in it. And this game was like, we can fix that.
Can't you burn
nice.
things in Animal Crossing?
Oh, we went over. You can burn things here, just not wood.
Can you burn wood in Animal Crossing?
I don't remember that being a thing. Maybe you could start like a little campfire or something.
I was
That's
about to say, I
good.
think there is a decorative element that is a
Yeah.
campfire, but I don't think you need to cut wood
That's
for
good. That's
That-
good.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna, okay, we'll get there. Maybe you will be happy by the end of this. if we're going to
this.
start counting that. You can move things around in Fae Farm very easily by just going to your little grid system, picking something up, running around and placing it.
Wow,
Or
didn't like that.
if you want to
Yeah,
just
my sneeze is in my nose and it's not coming out. I'm so sorry.
I hate that you can move things.
I hate it.
You can also break things down and get all your resources back that
All of
you
them?
put into building it, which also makes it easy if you want to, hey, but later on when you get another farm, maybe I want to move this thing to this farm. You just dismantle it, get all the resources, run over to that farm and put it down.
You
This
can't
game-
do that in Animal Crossing?
I don't believe you get your resources back.
It sounds too forgiving.
No, it sounds nice.
too easy.
This is not the Dark Souls of farming games.
You can play Farming Sim 2022 if you want a more in-depth modern farming experience.
That's like the Assassin's Creed of farming sims.
What?
Because it's so
Assassin's
in-depth
Creed
and
is not
historical.
like a simulator.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
Sure.
if you want to get weirdly meta about what a simulation within a video game world is meant to be like, with the
Assassin's
Animus.
Creed Origins and Valhalla had the simulation modes where you just walked around and learned and walked around. That's what it was.
I don't know if I'd call that a simulation though.
It's a simulator.
Is it?
Yeah. It's to simulate what it was like walking around there. It is used to simulate that. It in and of itself is a simulator.
Can you ride on a magic camel?
In this game?
No, in the simulation aspect of Origins.
Oh.
A magic camel?
Well, it appears out of thin air, so I always considered it to be magic.
Yeah.
Oh,
it
when
does-
he
yeah.
just summons and you're just like, oh
Yes.
shit. That's actually they're all just ancestors. They're all the children of the GTA mechanic. He's the ancestor.
Yes. So, Fae Farm?
I'm
Yeah,
Johnny on the spot.
So you get you get different crops to grow, which
Corn.
it will be a lot
Corn.
of different vegetables. I
Corn.
didn't
Corn.
come across corn.
What the fuck
Does it
is this game? It has
does
no vegetables.
Does it
No,
have
you're-
seasons?
Yes, we will get there.
Okay.
Shortly. But so yeah, you all sorts of different veggies, Dave.
No, there
Cauliflower,
isn't. No
beets.
lettuce, no corn. What? Those are like
Cabbage.
two massive vegetables.
Beans.
They're like the only two vegetables that I do. A cucumber.
No.
That is a why? Why not?
Potato.
Cranberry?
Onions.
Yes. I think that was a variant.
What do you mean a variant?
Yeah.
It's its own thing. It's an onion.
We'll get there. We'll get to variants.
Uh,
There's a lot of we'll get there.
I'm not immersed. I'm not immersed right now.
There are different. You put down beech and oak trees. Those are your two main woods for most of the game. Flowers, fruit trees. You refill your water at a well, which I will. All right, this is annoying. Your watering can only has so much water. Fine, but when you run out of water, it'll do this animation where it goes like doo doo, and then and you're just like every time it's like a little too long because you're like, I get it. I need to go refill with water, but I can't move because I'm. That was annoying.
That's the
But-
first mod they put in. Remove the watering can
yes.
animation.
Each farm does have its own well that you just have to run up to and refill with water. Crops won't just die if you're not watering them, but they won't grow. So it'll be like beets take 4 waters to fully grow, so you can harvest them.
But you can only water them one day at a time, I would imagine.
Yeah, once a day you
Yes.
water them. And then you're just kind of... You could do it like once a week. And each month has 4 weeks, so like at the end of the month you will have crops to harvest, because they're not just going to die from not being watered, they just won't grow. Which does make it nice when, like, oh, I really want to focus on this thing today. You don't have to worry about your crops dying.
Not immersed.
It's not a simulator.
What the fuck? It's what is this? An
That's-
arcade farmer?
It
Those don't exist. What is this? A bullet hell vegetable game?
Is Animal Crossing
avoiding
a realistic
seeds?
simulator?
It's better off. Like that's what it is. It's
You're
better
just
off as
walking
one.
and talking animals.
It don't fucking matter. You stuff that's their you. They got lettuce.
It's all about the lettuce.
It is. There is possibly a All right, here. You know what? Let's see. Fae Farm lettuce.
I love lettuce. I always ask for extra lettuce.
It's not looking good. It's not looking good. Yeah.
Bad game.
No lettuce.
Not being immersive immediately takes it down 3 points.
It's not your episode. Let Dylan decide.
I'm just saying, just
There's
for the
some
one,
hijacking going on, and I will not stand for it.
just for the one Dave fan who's still listening. Hey, by the way,
one Dave fan.
and it's probably me who's listening. Only
The
listen,
one
buddy.
Dave/lettuce fan.
It's going down 3 points just for that. Now, if they come out with that DLC, I'll give it a 1.5 points. But they already made the mistake of not including it initially.
There is a day-night cycle, and I like the way this game handles it. I don't like it when games like this do it based on real time, because there will only be certain things that happen like during the morning or daytime or at night that force you to like work your schedule around being able to play in the morning or at night, and that's annoying.
Yes.
This one,
Animal Crossing.
yes, days are 18 minutes long, I believe,
Fuck immersion.
in this one. What? So 18 minutes long. It's good. It's nice. It works. And you can also at any point just sleep to advance to the next day.
Do you pass out if you don't go to bed on time?
No, and this is actually, I'm glad you asked that. So you wake up at 6 a.m. and you go till midnight. And at 11 p.m. it does like wolves howling and like it's time to get back to bed. And you know, a lot of games, if you don't get back to bed on time, there'll be some sort of like a fee
penalty.
or it's like, yeah. Nah, it just doesn't matter in this game. Just go till midnight.
That's good. I like that.
And then you just go to bed and you wake up at 6 a.m. So there's no penalty or anything like that.
Then why stop?
You don't stop. It
That's
is a
the
little
thing.
silly to have like it. The warning, I guess, should be more of like a, hey, the day's about to end, because that is good to know if you're in the middle of something, but not so much like get to bed.
Imagine it hits midnight and you're just out in the field, and all of a sudden, in a split second, the sun comes up and a person runs up to you and just hands you a note and it says, "You slept." And it's like,
That's not
what?
how it works.
Excuse me?
That's not how it works.
Excuse me?
And there is a season cycle. So a month is a season. And each season/month is 28 days long. So it's exactly 4 weeks in game. You have the spring month, it's summer, fall, winter, and then it just repeats. Each season does have its own like visual aspect to it. So when it's fall, all the trees will, like, the leaves will be orange. It'll be more like leaf piles everywhere. Winter, it's snowy everywhere. It's very pretty. It's a very pretty
That sounds
game.
pretty.
Also, with farming, you can get fertilizers that will each. So there are the crops that grow pretty much year round, and then there are some that are seasonal. And then each season will give you its own variant. with fertilizer.
That's
So,
where the onion comes in.
yeah. So like let's say there's cauliflower, and then you plant a bunch. You can plant that year round, and then you put some of this fertilizer on it. Some of them may they may grow as potatoes.
That's not how that works.
It's a magical
Not how that
realm.
works.
It's a magical realm. It's
That's not how
magic
that-
fertilizer.
You had me so convinced. Everything you were saying was how
It's
everything
literally
was working
called like
until
Fae magic fertilizer or some shit.
then. And where did he get this from?
There's a Fae realm.
Did he head on down to the Ace?
There's no Ace.
Do they have it
This
at
is
the
not
Ace?
this is not Farming Simulator 22. You don't drive to the hardware store and
Was it on
get your
sale?
goods.
Did you get a good deal?
You do run into the middle of town where all the shops are and buy seeds, though.
Oh, okay, but that you do.
Yes.
I feel like in this game, in this Fae game, you just walk into the center of town and you just scream into the sky, and then you just just seeds are just in your pocket and you leave.
No.
Why would that be a problem? Why do you need to be so cynical about this cute Fae farming game?
There are also different fruit trees. Fruit trees are completely seasonal. So during the summer, the pear trees will be the ones that are harvesting fruit. During fall are apples. Winter is cherries. Spring, I don't remember what spring was. Maybe it's peaches?
You
Could've
can
been
grow
peaches.
shit in winter? Now I'm the one complaining.
Yeah, your farm
It's like,
operates.
what is this bullshit, Lyle? I cannot, but that's not how it works.
Your farm operates seamlessly throughout the winter.
Okay. Fine. I'll take it.
Carrots, fresh.
Your farm does expand at some point to the property that is directly next to yours. That gives you a whole new farm plot, a new house that you can make your default house by putting a bed in it and sleeping there. The way I split it up was I had my main farm where I had all my crops, my flowers, my trees, like my fruit trees, and then the second farm I had what is it now? What sort of immersion was broken for you here?
We'll get to it in the next part. It's just one thing. It's just one thing that's sticking out of there that's getting me.
Just
All right.
go.
All right. So that was my main property, and I made like these nice like paths to walk through. It was very, very nice.
You need to send screenshots. I wanna see it. I wanna see the nice.
It's a nice farm.
We just ignore Dave. We just ignore him.
He's lost it. He's gone.
So you had one farm and you had all your stuff and the other.
This is so good.
You just mute his
I could
his
mute
voice
him.
track.
I could end him. My second farm I used as a like a tree farm because the beech and oak trees that are kind of scattered throughout the island only grow, like you chop them down and they only grow every so often to get more wood, but you can plant your own trees, and most of the property was that, because then I would just chop down trees to get the wood as needed for crafting and then plant trees to replace it. And then I had my whole second house inside was just one big crafting. It was like my work farm. I was thinking of it as like my shed out back where I do all my work and my crafting. And I had like a nice outdoor area with like a brick floor for the outdoor crafting stuff. I was happy. I was very happy with how my farm turned out.
I'm very bad at placing things. It's so random for me. So I admire your your order.
There were probably 2 or 3 nights
Organization.
straight of that was my focus in Fae Farm. was
Nice.
just doing that. You also get animals. So your first farm has chickoos and cottontails, which are chickens, and I don't really know what a cottontail equivalent would be. Maybe a
A
sheep,
sheep?
but it doesn't really look very sheep-like.
Okay.
And then your second farm gets woolly horns and mamus, which are cows and sheep.
Another type of sheep.
Yeah.
Or goats.
Yeah, goats maybe. And each animal, so you buy and you can have 6 total animals in for each farm. So my first farm I had 3 chickoos, 3 cottontails. My second one I had 3 woolly horns, 3 mamus. You buy each one individually, and you can name them as you see fit. Put them in the barn that you want, and they each have their own individual like happiness meter, which goes from like unsure to curious to content. And you raise that by you pet them, you feed them, which you can have like self-feeding things outside the barn. So it's just like a patch of wild grass that they will just eat on their own. Fresh air, so they're outside. They won't come out during like rainy days. And some of them get brushed, some don't. It depends on the animal. And then they will overnight. At least the chickoos and the cottontails, you go inside and they'll have eggs and cotton waiting for you to pick out of their beds. And the second group will have milk or wool, which you milk the mamus by magically making them float and putting a pan under them, and it just milks. And the woolly horns, you shear them, which it seems very dangerous. You just magically, you have a pair of like floating shears, and then you just spin that animal around those shears, and you get the wool you need.
Maybe those Fae aren't as nice as you think they are.
It seems like it would be very dangerous.
The fresh air broke me.
That's what broke you?
I
That's what all that was
I
for?
thought it was the petting.
Happiness is based off petting. That makes sense. Feeding. Okay, you should make sure they're fed. Brushing. Okay, yeah. Petting, brushing. That makes sense.
Fresh air does not make sense to you for
They're
animals?
outside animals, or they're in a barn with doors that are open. Are people backing their cars up and letting the exhaust fill up the location? How are they not in access of fresh air constantly?
Have you not seen Animal Farms?
Open the doors.
There are poor weather
Let them
conditions
outside.
where they won't go outside.
Open the doors. It's called a breeze.
You're reaching now. This is a reach.
I'm imagining a gang of teens backing their trucks up to
There's
a
no
barn.
trucks. There's no vehicles.
And just pouring the exhaust inside the barn, and the animals are freaking out, and they're getting very curious as to what's going on.
Letting animals outside and opening a door, there's a difference there.
Yeah, if anything, this is one of the more immersive things in the game. You should be happy about this.
I want an evil gang.
There's no evil gang.
I like this side quest line much better.
There is one thing. There is breeding in the game that I did not mess with this system, but it seems like it would be you drop 2 of the animals off, they make a baby, and then you can sell one of those animals, the adult ones, for some income.
That's
and then
fucked.
raise the baby and have another one, kind of rinse and repeat. I didn't see any need to do that. I don't know if there is an extra benefit.
You're setting a
with
terrible
that,
example.
I didn't do it a single time, so I set good
You
examples.
didn't set a terrible example, but by mentioning it in general, you're giving them the opportunity, and you're setting 50% bad examples.
I don't think that's how that works.
I think I'm right.
All right, dungeons. That is the basics of your farm. Now there's dungeons. So you are sent into the mines. which is the first dungeon of the game. There's 3 dungeons total. Each dungeon has 25 floors to it.
Damn,
And
Pokemon Mystery Dungeon much.
this is where you do your mining, where you will get ores, jewels, and you will fight enemies and advance the story. So each dungeon kind of has its own unique gimmick for getting to the next floor, because the door is always going to be locked. For the first one, I'm not going to do all of them because I don't want to spoil the whole game. But the first one,
Whoa.
you have to you have to find a switch to open the door, and that will be hidden under a resource. So like you'll mine some iron, and then once you break that down, there could be a switch hidden underneath for you to unlock.
That's very Stardew Valley.
Is it?
It is.
Well, then I wonder where they got it from.
The double and triple jumping though, and quadruple jumping, and the spins. Jumping's insane.
Progress is not saved through each floor unless you make seals. And the way that works is they're made from resources that you find in a dungeon. So for the first one, you'll be making seals that you use iron for. And you put it at the beginning of a floor. And what that does is automatically unlock the door. It lets you fast travel to that floor from the beginning of the dungeon. And you can only put a seal down if you have one from the previous floor put it. So the loop is you're going into a dungeon, gathering resources. Usually the day will end. You'll make seals that you can. Go back in and then start putting down those seals so then you can fast travel to like floor 4 the next time you're in there. And then pick up from there, get the resources, make the seals, go back in. That's the general loop of what's going on there. So you basically can't skip floors. You can't put a seal like, oh, put one in floor 5, then floor 10 to just like kind of bounce around the dungeon. You can't do that. And combat is pretty basic. You have a wand that in the beginning does not have any magic, so you're just kind of whacking enemies with it, which is what you honestly do for most of combat in the game. And it's a very basic 3-hit combo where you do like 2 quick attacks and 1 bigger one. And that is the combo for the whole game. Enemies are called jumbles, which are inanimate objects that come to life magically. And they're based on the dungeon. So the first one it's the mines that are like off of a beach. So it's all nautical themes. It'll be like an anchor, a compass, a treasure chest. Like those are the enemies.
Is there a story behind that?
Not really. That is just kind of
Okay.
like that's what they are, and that's that.
Okay.
It's not like you beat the dungeon and there's like an answer at the end and you stop that. They're just
All right.
always there.
Sure.
Magic, you know?
Magic.
Later dungeons do kind of have variants on they'll introduce maybe an enemy or two and then have their own version of previous ones. The last dungeon specifically can get overwhelming with the amount of enemies on screen in a weirdly like challenging way for a cozy game. But you do have ways of working around that. Enemies all project their attacks, and their attack patterns will be a little different. So like the treasure chest will kind of like zoom towards you, but it will project with like a thing on the ground that fills up as it's about to charge at you. But if you attack it, it interrupts the charge, it interrupts the attack, and it has to start from the beginning of their attack. And like the anchor will jump up in the air, and then it'll be like a circle around it, an AoE attack that it then slams down if you're in that. Which I do find annoying that if you're in that circle but you jump, it doesn't matter. You still get hit. I don't agree with that. I think it should only
Immersion
if you're on the
broken.
ground. Yeah, that broke my immersion. There you go, Dave.
Sounds like the worst fucking game that I have ever played.
You haven't played this.
Yeah.
And it hurts.
You do
Ollie can't handle it.
You do eventually start unlocking spells to be used in combat. So you get this like fire spell, which will have 3 floating little orbs around you that will home in on enemies and hit them. Or you have a charm spell, which this is very useful for that later dungeon I was talking about, where you just shoot out like an AoE attack, and all enemies that are in that area just freeze for a moment of time, and
Oh.
you just go to town on them.
I thought you might get them on your side with a charm attack.
No, that would make sense.
Yeah.
And we'll get into the meters a little bit later, but you do have a health meter, and you use health potions to get that back, which you can buy fairly cheap. And later.
Not food?
No, but food does play a very important element.
Okay.
And that's the basic loop of the dungeon. Now that we got all that, let's talk about crafting. So,
Crafting.
Very Animal Crossing with the fish and bugs. You're catching fish in almost the same way. They're a little bit more of a mini game with the fish, but it's basic. You're catching bugs in the same way that like some of them you can just run up and catch. Other critters will be like if you spook them, they'll run away and disappear. So you have to do the sneaking with the bug net, like in Animal Crossing, and then catch it. There's fresh and saltwater fish, and with the crafting, there's a whole bunch of different things you make. So there's cooking, which you start with a cooking fire, which is
fire.
Here you go, Dave. Yeah,
Dave,
you are.
Dave,
this
fire.
Is if we're running technical. The bottom, it's like a little campfire basically that's outside, and I guess the bottom, the fire is wood. You don't use wood to start the fire or anything, but there you go.
Use
Dave.
fire to start the fire.
Use fire to start the fire. And then that kind of that eventually the cooking fire just becomes useless, and you get a combination of a food prep table, which is where you can chop up things. So you can like chop up vegetables for like diced roots, for example, or you can chop up fruits for diced fruit. That's the moment everyone closes the video. You get a cooking hearth, which it's basically like an oven. That's where it replaces your cooking fire.
Firebox.
You get an artisan table, which is where you make like fancier stuff. So, for
like
example,
Ratatouille.
You can collect a bunch of milk from the mammals, and then use at the artisan table. Use a bunch of milk to make cheese, and then you can use cheese as an ingredient in bigger food dishes. Yes, Lyle.
Why do you make food?
Stamina. Energy. Everything you do
is
requires
exhausting.
Energy. If you're mining, every single strike, stamina. If you're chopping down wood, stamina. Every single thing you do, just about.
If it's your birthday, stamina.
No.
No?
No.
Do you have?
In fact, you don't celebrate a
game?
birthday. No.
What the fuck? But you can double jump. I think I would take that.
Well,
I would take that.
So food is very important if you plan on doing a lot of things in a day. Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Which is kind of the way that they keep like farming relevant and growing your crops and all that stuff. Catching fish. There's a beverage station, which is used for tea, which you can just run around the island. There's tea leaves everywhere for you to gather. And tea is mostly used based on the weather. So during the summer, it will be most of the day, not most, maybe about half will be very hot. You need to cool off, or else it like will take a big chunk of energy away, like when you overheat. To cool off, you make iced tea. You drink it, and that gives you like a cooled off meter for a good while. Same thing if it's rainy and you're all wet and cold, or if it's winter, you just make hot like green tea. And you can make different variations.
Clothes are not a thing for this character.
Well, you do wear them. You're not nude.
Just hot and cold. Hot and cold.
But no, like the clothes don't.
Okay.
That doesn't do anything like that.
So when you're out and about, does the game actually have, like, if you're out in the winter section, do you need to drink a hot tea?
Yes. If you don't, you will get too cold, while doing stuff, and it'll like sap away like a big chunk of your energy meter.
And you got like a t-shirt on.
You can. You don't have to. You can wear something else.
You're just in the middle of farming. Hey man, Shaq got a brand new idea. Drink this. Ice it in numb the pain. Hot
You
to
did-
relax it away.
You didn't invent tea.
Come on,
That's not what happened here.
take a big sip for Shaq.
You just made it.
Mmm.
That's what the beverage station is for. There's a garden bench, which you can use for your crops. Where you'll take like cauliflower. Let's continue with the cauliflower example. You take some cauliflower, and if you put like one cauliflower into your garden bench, it will make 3 seeds.
I like lentils.
So
Are there
it is
lentils in the game?
I
feel like lentils are popular around the goddamn world.
yes, that is. I believe that one is in there. I think that's a
Nice.
seasonal one.
Okay.
It's not-
He's
1
back on
point.
board.
I feel like I've seen it. I've seen it in the.
Good.
Well, I looked it up and nothing's coming up, but I feel like that's in there. I think it is. They're happy about it.
Boy.
So it's basically a way to be more self-sufficient farming. I think the bigger need for it is when you start making variants that you can't just buy seeds for, and then you can use some of those to make more seeds of that crop, so you can grow more. There is a loom. You use that with like cotton and wool and silk later on to craft those into like full-on things that you use for crafting.
But
Yes,
not
yeah.
clothes for winter.
No, it's more for decorations
Okay.
in your house. So like furniture and the like. So like if you're making a couch, it will need some of those things.
No common sense. No, it's cold. Let me make an LL Bean jacket. I could use that.
I will just drink tea.
There is your stone forge.
You see
which
that
is-
guy out there? He's been out there for 12 hours. He has a core temperature of 150 degrees.
Hey, magic. It's a magic realm. You can
magic
explain
tea.
away anything in this game with magic.
You could cook an egg in his stomach.
Magically. You have the stone forge, which is where you throw the ores to make ingots, which can be used all sorts of crafting like items, but also to upgrade your tools. So you bring it to the blacksmith. The first level of upgrades use iron ingots and money, which we'll get to making money a little later. But you upgrade your tools, and once you upgrade to iron, that's when they start become magical. So that's when you can like use your watering can, for example. You hold down Y, it will use some mana, but it will then water like a bigger grid point instead of just like one little crop at a time. Or for mining, it's kind of the same deal. Instead of just hitting one rock at a time, you hold down Y and it will do like a whole area. And you do a big slam and mine like everything in that square.
Thor.
Yes, Thor. There's the seal crafting station, which is what we went over before, where you make the seals, which are like the little keys in the floors of the dungeon. There's a decorating table, which is where you will make things like wallpapers for your house. And then there's the gem polisher. This is where you're making your money. You are taking the gems that you find in dungeons that you mine, and you polish them here. It takes 10 raw gems to polish it into like one jewel, and then you sell that jewel. And the way selling works in this game, you don't just go to a shop and just sell and get money. There are selling like stands in the middle of town that you put your stuff on, and the next day when you wake up, it's purchased, and that's when you get your money.
I've seen
and
shit
That's a
like
very
that.
trusting community.
Even the even the mayor, when she tells you about this system, she's like, don't worry about who's buying it or Like I know even if you're putting up junk, just everyone needs something, so people buy it.
In Potion Permit, there's a little like, you know when you're walking around town and there's one of those like like free book boxes,
Mm-hmm.
like there's one of those right outside like the little apothecary place in Potion Permit, and you would take all your extra resources and make a bunch of potions and throw them in there, and people would buy them overnight, and you would reap the rewards. Then you go to a strip club. Go
I don't
strip
believe that
club.
part. I think
Fae
now
Farm. Fae
now
Farm
you're
go to strip
fabricating
club
it.
too.
No,
Same
strip
universe,
clubs.
same strip club. They meet up, hang out, grab a pint.
You can also, if you catch a queen bee, which is a rare bug, the rare bugs and fish will be sparkly. That's how you know they're rare.
Oh, they're shiny.
Like Pokemon.
You catch a queen bee, and you can use that to make a beehive, which you can then put regular bees into, which will produce honey for you.
You know what's a great idea? Taking the already made beehive that you took the queen from.
You're not taking the queen from a hive. It's just
Queens don't leave their hives.
That's
Magic.
not true. They do need to look for new.
The queens are also
They stay home.
wearing like little crowns in this game.
They're
so,
stay-at-home mommies.
Oh, yay! I love that.
Yeah, it's very cute. And then you get this kind of ties in with conservatories, which is where you'll put all your critters. You get 3. You can build 3 different ones throughout the game based on the regions you're in, but you will basically put your bugs, or you can also catch like frogs and crabs and things like that. And you put them in there, and then you wait for a while, and then they'll leave. So you're basically setting them free, but they'll leave behind like a resource for you. So Dave, you'll like this. You put frogs in there, they'll leave, and they'll leave you some frog sweat.
Oh.
Amazing.
I was hoping like you bring some crabs, and then they're like, "Hey man, we appreciated that. We left you a sandwich on the counter."
No, you put in crabs, they'll leave like shell bits behind.
Oh god, did they fight? Were they just like, or they
What?
just
Isn't that
shedding?
It's like a hermit crab thing, right? Where like you leave your shell behind for a new one type deal.
Hermit crab? Well, that's more so this home is inefficient and slowly dying. I'm looking for a new sustenance.
Well, that's what happens every single time.
They leave their... So your treasure is another man's trash.
If you put butterflies in there, they leave flutter dust.
What the fuck is that?
Magic. And if you put things like fireflies in there, they leave bug juice.
What?
That sounds wrong.
Any bug has bug
What
juice.
can you make out of these things is my question.
Potions.
Potions. Health. Potion.
Everyone in town is just throwing up everywhere.
So there is the potion ingredient station, which is a crafting table that you will use. Not that stuff that we're talking about, but you can gather other resources that you kind of break down there for potion materials. So some dungeons will have like tall grass that you harvest from there, and then you put it into the station. It basically like breaks it down. And then you have your cauldron, which is where you will put in the stuff like bug juice and the things you found in the dungeon, and make all sorts of potions, health potions. Then there's dungeons will have specific potions you need. So like the second dungeon has like a poison fog to it that will kill you unless you drink. I think it's called a fair breathing potion, which lets you like breathe in it, no problem.
Which is
or there'll
made
be-
of what?
I don't remember. So that's in the Fae realm. So you catch some specific magical creature that you put it into the Fae conservatory, and it leaves globobs, I think they're called. And then it's a certain type of like tall grass that you find in the Fae realm. That's what it was.
What
that you then
kind
break
of
down.
beetle do I need to eat to breathe mustard gas?
There's no beetles. I hate to break it to
His
you.
investment in this game is like up and down and up and
If
down.
I gather enough gnats in my mouth, can I breathe?
There's no
pepper
gnats.
spray?
You can't breathe anymore, I think, then.
Yeah, I think that'll take care of it. And then you can also make potions for different buffs. So there's like a zoom potion, you move faster. There's an invisibility potion, so where enemies won't see you, which makes it very convenient when you just want to run in, gather some resources, and not deal with the enemies all being all over you. And as I was kind of hinting at here, you do unlock kind of a magic Fae realm. And you get your own farm here, which is that's where it got kind of overwhelming for me, where I realized that this is not the type of game where you wake up in the morning, you like water your crops, you gather some resources, do a little questing, and that's that. So at this point, you have 3 farm plots with a lot to manage, and if you're managing all of it, your day is like over. So the only thing I use this farm, and it is the coolest farm and the most convenient, because there's no seasons in the Fae realm, there's no bad weather, and a lot of times when you water things in the Fae realm, like your crops, it will just be watered for like an extra day or two. And the creatures, the animals you get there are way cooler, like because they're like mystical, you know.
So you never want to go back and you just leave your animals.
But no, because the issue was it was the opposite. Because I already put in so many hours into making my base farm like operations that would have taken so long to bust everything down, move it to the new farm, have to figure out how I want to set it up. Like it was, so I just used it for the specific Fae crops that I needed, or the resources from the animals in the Fae realm, and that was that.
But you could have done it.
Yes, you can do it.
Okay.
You definitely can do it. So at the end of the first dungeon, you meet a giant creature, like a giant water dragon named Neppy, who is creating the whirlpools around the island unknowingly from the end of this dungeon, not realizing that they're causing all this havoc. So they're like, oh, we got to stop the whirlpools then. So the way this works, and each dungeon works the same, where there's this thing at the end causing some sort of calamity. And then they're like, oh, I'm sorry. I need a big meal.
Now.
I know. I need a big meal for the energy to stop these things from happening.
Of course.
So you have to go gather a bunch of... it's not like stuff you would actually make a meal with, but for them it is. So, like, all sorts of just random resources, basically. And then you deliver it to them, and it's like, all right, I'll see you in the morning where we stop it. And then once you go to bed for the day, you wake up, and it does, like, they're not cutscenes, they're just kind of, like, pictures, like, of what's happening, like in, like, a hand-painted sort of style, with just captions at the bottom that you're just kind of scrolling through. And this leads you to the Wisp Mother, who is a big fairy. Large, like maybe 10 times your size.
Oh,
that's a whole lot of woman.
She's the one that's like,
power.
Here's the Fae realm, check it out. And that's where you meet. You've seen a couple out and about, but this is really where you meet fairies, which they have like their own wings and everything.
Is this where and then dubstep kicks in?
You get your own wings through this, which allows you to double jump, which makes navigating around the island a lot quicker. You just double jump all over the place.
But you can't fly.
No, double
jump, because...
But no birthdays. That's the only caveat.
But no birthdays, yeah. This is where you get that special, like, Fae fertilizer that will give you variants. But if you use the Fae fertilizer on your Fae farm, it gives you a special Fae variant, not just a seasonal variant. Are we following?
Yes.
Sure.
I need to watch the cat. I'm sorry.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were confused by that or not.
No.
It was kitty time.
Yes. So, can you get the normal variants in the Fae realm, or will it always be a Fae variant?
No, then? If you just grew it without the fertilizer in the Fae realm, it would just be the normal crop. But then if you apply the fertilizer, it has like a percentage chance of growing into this special Fae variant of the crop. And it seems like most of the time it happens.
Okay.
And then there's just some other stuff in this game. There is like friendships and romance, but it's unfortunately very basic. Where it will be, you have your list of relationships that you can see, like who you can be friends with, who you can potentially romance, and it works by just talking to them every day, where they will say the same little the same few intro lines. They have some smiley faces around them to show that you got that for the meter. And I became besties. That's like the top one for the friendship ones with a few people. And it doesn't do anything. There's not like a special quest line or anything. You can do friendship quests, but they are just repeatable ones for higher friendship meter of like, I'm a little chilly today. Can I have some tea? And then you bring them tea and it just gives you more friendship meter. Uh, Romance works mostly the same. There's a set of characters that are specifically like off in a different part of your relationship thing, like your guide, so you can see who you can romance. And it's the same. You just kind of talk to them every day, but there will be dates with that one that will be like kind of a different camera angle of you sitting like somewhere kind of romantic and talking to the person. You don't actually do any talking; they do all the talking. There's no dialogue for your character or anything. And eventually that can lead to like the more you do it, like with friends, it'll go from like acquaintance to friends to good friends to great friends to besties. This is more like flirting to interested to getting serious. Yes, Lyle.
Can it be gay?
Yes, there's no like you have your group of characters you can romance, and there's no limitations to that.
Okay.
And you can kind of, once you get like serious and marry someone, which we'll get to, that does kind of lock it in with that person.
You
I
can
believe
marry somebody, but you can't grow lettuce.
but you can like go on dates with pretty much all of them and do all the previous stages before that, so you can kind of like see which character you like. And you can reset the meters of everyone.
Speed dating in a
So
small
if you
town.
get married and you're like, I don't like this person, even though getting married doesn't really do much of anything, you can just reset their meter, and then it's like you're strangers again. You can do that with the friends too, for whatever reason.
You have to
Magical forgetting dust.
Yeah,
You have to write in your own reason for the divorce. It's like, keeps talking about imaginary vegetable called lettuce. Never heard of it. Won't stop talking about it. And all of a sudden you walk by them in town, and they're like, "Hi, I've never met you before. Have you ever heard of lettuce?" And they're like, "Oh my god."
so once you hit a certain point, you get the option with them to propose for marriage. Except since you don't talk, you hit that, and it's the other person proposing to you.
You high five.
And
Awesome
then you
sauce.
have to put a deposit down for a wedding, which is 10,000. I think it's called florin. That's the name of the currency in this
Wow,
game.
that's like real life. You have to put in money to get married.
Yeah, for a marriage certificate. 10,000's a lot in
cucumbers.
this game. That's a lot of money. That's like way more money. That's like almost double what the top upgrade for your tool will cost, along with the resources.
I'm
It's like that
sorry,
one
you
Mark
are
Wahlberg
you are
movie.
just too expensive to marry.
It's
Let's just say friends.
it is the most cutscene like thing you get in the game with the marriage. It's where you are in like the like town hall spot, and it's all decorated. You get to choose between 3 outfits what you want your attire to be, which is kind of like a suit, a dress, or this more like Fae sort of outfit, which I chose the Fae one because it was cool. And then the other person says like some vows to you. You don't say anything, and then you're married.
I mean, for the listeners who have played this game, who did you romance?
Pyria. She was
Okay.
kind of like the like a dark fairy who is all about. She's like an introvert and like a bookworm sort of deal.
I like books.
I'm gonna go. I'm pretty sure she's kind of like the consensus favorite.
Okay.
And I think people like Jack too. He's kind of like a gruffled sort of dude, got a big beard.
I like books, Jack.
There are festivals in the game. So it is usually towards the end of a month. There will be like a seasonal festival where you'll have to gather some things. And then the town on the last day of the month will be super decorated. So like during springtime for like the spring festival, there'll be flowers all over the place. Then you can go to like the town hall mayor's office area where everyone's hanging out for the festival. And there will be a shop there where you can bring some resources and money to get like season specific decorations or clothing. Decorating your house, which this is an aspect I like. This is how you get better stats. So there will be 3 categories of decorations, and the more decorations that you put, so there's like one category, I think it was called like cute, that might have been for your health. So the more decorations you put from the cute list in your house, the higher your health meter will be. And it does correlate to like the first dungeon you'll get iron and some sort of other resource, and you can kind of make those ones for your health meter and your stamina meter and your mana meter. And then the next dungeon you'll get the resources you need kind of for the next set of furniture. But I liked that.
That's
What's
an
the
interesting
section for
mechanic.
stamina?
What?
What's the section for stamina?
I don't remember.
But health is like cute.
Cute might have been something else, but I just remember cute as one of the categories. I think it was cozy, cute, and something else.
I want to go to Usain Bolt's house and it be super cozy, and that's why he's the fastest runner.
That's the secret to it.
It's so cozy, Usain.
It's just such a cozy house, and
yes,
it makes him fast.
Thank you.
I
It's
mean,
like Usain. Where did these blankets? Oh my god! He goes, yes.
my house would just be a random assortment of stuff then, but it's an interesting mechanic.
Yeah, I mean, you can still definitely like you can upgrade your house, which makes it bigger and adds more rooms. And you could definitely kind of categorize it as like I had like a cozy main room and then like a side room for like reading and painting, and then my bedroom.
You can do that, I'm sure.
Or you could just throw things about randomly and you get the benefits.
Yeah,
For sure.
that's what I would do.
There are jobs where there will be like a fishing job, and it's basically you go to the person, accept a job quest to like catch 3 of these fish, and you get like a resource from it, some money, and at the very end of a job you get like a specific outfit that would like equate to that job. And there's like not much reason to do it unless you're like going for like a completionist sort of deal. I think that covers all the systems. Now let's get into some performance problems this game had. At least now, again, I'm playing on Switch and looking some stuff up. There were a lot of overlapping issues between Switch and PC. I'm not going to say that they're one for one exactly, but a lot of the issues that one thing had, the other one did. So, for example, there's a job board in town that you can every 2 weeks accept a job to like basically gather some sort of resource, put it at the job board, and you get a bunch of money.
Money.
They did update this one and fixed it. But
Okay.
I was playing it before, but you would not be able to accept it. The jobs, like you would hold it down, it would fill up the meter, and it would exit out, and you don't actually get the job, and you can try going back into the job board to accept it. It doesn't work.
Hey, could you do this for me? I really need this. I appreciate it. No, I couldn't possibly do that for you.
I literally can't.
I'm trying so hard.
Thank you so much, but like I couldn't. I don't deserve this.
That did, even after the update, that did happen with some quests as well, where I'm trying to accept it and it won't actually accept it, to the point where I have to save the game, quit out of the game, restart the game, jump back in, and that seemed to fix that. You can get stuck, but they do have like a help, I'm stuck button, which will make you unstuck, which is nice. Good. But that does have like a lot with like the bigger farm animals. When you ring the bell to call them all out so they can get their food and fresh air, they will all kind of spawn right on top of you, and you're just, that's it.
piles.
Yeah, it's one big pile. My girlfriend, who is also playing this game, I didn't have this issue. She just straight up didn't get her wedding. The character she was romancing one day
Dip.
just spouse. It
Oh.
just changed spouse.
Oh,
There was no
Great.
proposal, no it just didn't activate for her for some reason.
this
Hey,
is your chosen mate.
So about our wedding, I really don't want to talk about
Yeah.
it.
I deposited the money, we're married. It's it.
Look, just I'm hungry, man.
It definitely starts to drop frames, especially later when there's more enemies and like the dungeons get more complicated. I'm sure that's better on PC than it is on Switch. I also noticed, which is a weird Switch thing, that playing in handheld mode was like resolution was poor. It was like pretty blurry. But playing docked on the TV was fine.
And you have the OLED.
Yes, and I normally find it to be the opposite,
Hmm.
where on the TV it will look kind of like stretched, but on handheld it looks good. You know, as good as the Switch will look. So I don't know what was up with that.
I would write a strongly worded letter as the only form of an outlet to communicate.
That there is no letters.
No, for Dylan's complaint.
There are letters in the game. You get mail,
Uh-oh.
but it's
You've got mail.
it's not like it's usually just like, hey, festival's coming up,
Dylan mustn't go back to Fae Farm this year.
or one of the romance people is like, hey, can we talk? I want to like go out on the date with you, and then you go meet them. There's also the townspeople have birthdays, but it just doesn't...
you don't.
Well, but hear this out. It just doesn't matter.
Can they double jump?
You like the first one? No, they don't. I never. Well, maybe they can, and they just don't show you.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
You never
If
see another
everyone can
character
double jump, but you don't get a birthday, and there's no lettuce.
It just even when you like the first one in the beginning of the game is Eddie the fisherman. It's his birthday. You can't even like wish him a happy birthday. There's nothing. So I don't know what the point of it is. Yes, Lyle.
Has your girlfriend played Stardew Valley?
I don't think so.
Because a lot of these mechanics are Stardew Valley. They just seem a little bit worse.
Yeah, there's a lot of like there's a good base here for something that it's a good prototype for Stardew Valley, I guess. is what's happening.
Let's make sure that the animals can breathe. That's a game mechanic right there for the ages.
That's very Pokemon, isn't it?
Making the animals breathe?
Breathe?
I thought
because
you said
you're
breathe.
still stuck up on the fresh air thing. Okay.
Absolutely.
There were I'm having trouble thinking of them, but there were definitely some other like performance issues of glitches or things not working the way they should. A lot of like trying to collect something and it's just not working, or like accept quests, it's not working. There was, like I said, there was that update that fixed some of that. So at that point, it doesn't apply to anyone looking to start this game now, but it did affect me deeply.
Are you gonna keep playing?
Well, I beat it. So no.
What does that mean for the score?
Yeah, there's no score here.
Yeah, I'm
Where's
so
the score?
confused.
The score is going to be a 6 out of 10.
Score
It was
equals 6 plus 10.
You said score plus 6 equals 1 minus.
A 6 out of 10. Slightly above average.
Yes, it was fun. I did get hooked into the loop of it, but these types of games with their gameplay loops usually will hook me for a good while. It just would become either too grindy at points, in an annoying way. Like there's I also do typically enjoy the loop of like in these games, like you wake up, you water your crops, you harvest some, you maybe make some food, sell some things, go out and do some like quest type stuff, and you kind of repeat that loop. If you're the days are too short in this game if you want to do that. By the time you like water all your crops, do all that stuff, cook some stuff, it could be like 4 p.m. already. So it's I don't love the loop.
The game needs
It's too
more
grindy.
mechanics, you're saying.
It doesn't need more mechanics. The mechanics need to be more refined.
So, you know how sometimes games that are like similar to other games need to have that one thing that's different?
Yeah, sure.
I think Fae Farm really could have succeeded if they implemented a mechanic that is similar to like the 23andMe, where throughout time you just kind of get a letter and it's like, hey,
Yes,
this guy might be your cousin. That's cool.
No, I think the thing that's setting it apart is the whole Fae
Fae.
realm, the Fae. Yeah, that whole. And I will say the Fae realm and your Fae farm that you get is it's very pretty. It's a very nice style. It's cute. It's colorful. And it there's a good base here, but it just didn't.
It looks like a
fully
game that I'd play on the computer 10 years ago.
It doesn't look bad. It doesn't look like bad. I'm curious. I have my Switch here. I'm curious how much time I put in. I feel like I put in a good amount of hours into this game.
8 hours.
Let's hear it.
Imagine. Let's see. Hold on. I'm quitting out of the game just to make sure that it's all updated.
That it dies.
Saved.
That it's
Died?
perfect for uninstall.
Funeral. Lettuce.
45 hours or more, it says. So
That's a good amount.
it definitely held my attention for a good chunk of time.
That's
and
how long I
wasn't.
played.
I would
would
call
say.
that satisfied in my book. What's so fucking funny about that? It's the truth. I would.
Well, I will say I also really grinded through it the last couple of nights. Like both nights I was up till about 3 or 4 a.m. just for the review. That I would not have played this game in that manner if it wasn't for that.
Do you think
So,
that detracted some points because you played it at a pace it probably wasn't supposed to be played at?
I don't think so, because like the frustration, like I didn't include the frustration of like, oh, another quest I gotta do. I'm so close, but you're giving me another quest. The frustration is more of like the performance issues and just being too grindy in general.
Okay.
To where it's like, at some point, it just kind of will become annoying. Like, oh, I have to go gather resources. That means I have to make all these potions to be able to even enter this dungeon. And if I don't want to deal with all the enemies, I have to make more potions. And it just kind of becomes like, to get the thing you need, you have to do too many steps and annoying processes leading up to it.
I see.
That's bad.
It is.
It's not a bad game.
Oh, that's bad.
It's an alright game.
Oh, that's good.
All right.
Thank
Let's move on
you.
to notable game releases.
All right, I'm gonna start. After Dream, coming September 28th for PS5, Nintendo Switch, PC, Xbox Series X and S. This is a horror side-scrolling, 2D side-scrolling thingy that I want to check out because I think it looks very cool.
Coming out the next day on September 29th, Cocoon. That limbo spider ball pushing game. Pretty colors. Will be coming out on PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch, PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S.
After that is the Lamplighters League, coming out October 3rd to PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S. Lyle, what is that?
It's an XCOM-like, but with a different theme.
Yes.
Got it.
And then, also on October 3rd, we have Station to Station, which is only coming for PC. It's that voxel cozy game where you just build stations and have trains that just go around the landscape. It's very pretty.
Basement
Is that immersive
Lego
enough for you, Dave?
Simulator
Probably not.
2028.
Probably, yeah, there will be no lettuce, and that'll be it.
No.
Fuck, bro. Build lettuce. Station lettuce.
Station.
Stationary lettuce.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Lyle. Thank you,
Thank you,
Dave.
Dylan. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can
Goodbye.
No, I can't do the cranberry voice.
The cranberry voice? What's a
I
cranberry
can't.
voice?
I can't do it. When it turned you into like a wrestler at the beginning of the episode, do you remember that?
I have the memory of a slice of bread.